A man who once dreamt of soaring as a pilot, but instead took flight in the BFSI sector. Known for his very bold vision and risk-taking, he has been instrumental in laying the foundations of what he envisions as a world-class institution.
In fact, today he continues to shape the future of banking. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. V. Vaidyanathan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a great pleasure for me to be here at this very, very important event of the India Economic Conclave 2024. We have been associated with this program for the last 10 years and right from the inception. And I can tell you that this is one of the very significant events which really brings about many thoughts, ideas, and shapes the future of the economy. Now, I'd like to also say Minister Piyush Goyal is here with us, and we really welcome you and all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in today's session, this is a very important subject, fast track to top 3. This is important because, top 3 looks around the corner, and I was just reading up before coming here that in 10 years ago, India was the 10th largest economy in the world. 10th largest. And in 10 years, we have already crossed or overtaken in terms of GDP size Russia, Brazil, Italy, France, UK. And now we are talking in the next 3 years crossing Japan and Germany. Both are in the $4 trillion handle. Germany is like $4.5 trillion and Japan is $4.2 trillion. And we're talking of touching $5 trillion, let me say, in 3 years from now. Now, it's a very, very important thing. And obviously, like how you run a race and you figure out that you're running, in 10 years, you caught up with 5 of them and 2 more. It's obviously very exciting for all of us as Indians. It's really a proud moment and a proud achievement. Now, we also see that this progress that has happened over the last 10 years is not just by accident. It is something that has, somebody has actually worked towards making this happen. Like the Prime Minister says, Niyat, Nistha, and Niti, meaning you need to have the intention, the determination, and Niti, meaning policy. They all have to come together to make it happen, and last 10 years it has happened. Now, we all have to agree that this is not like a God-ordained thing that India will become the 3rd largest, 2nd largest. It's nothing like that. Policies have made it happen. So in the last 10 years, let me just say that serious work has happened on this front. We've had, the growth of the a large number of reforms that have happened. GST was a major one. It was a difficult one. Because it's really, I'm having this speech for Mr. Piyush Goyal because I saw one of your speeches the other day where you talked about how, people should become entrepreneurs and not just join the government of India. So that point really stuck on me. So I just want to bring that out in the course of discussion. So coming back to the point. So the government has done very specific initiatives over the last 10 years. GST, very big one. There was so much objection to it. People said all sorts of things, this will go crazy, that will go bad, etc. And we are not ready. But somehow someone made it happen. IBC, very significant reform. Someone made it happen. So much of digitization initiatives. Someone made it happen. Creating of the ecosystem, clearing the Aadhaar bill as a money bill, making it happen. And then setting up this India stack, then setting up the ONDC so that we do commerce with each other. Why should we pay somebody else somewhere in the US or somebody? We are Indians, but transacting each other, and therefore local, hyper-local delivery can happen. So all this kind of digital ecosystem that the country has brought about, I think is a very massive reform. And all this has powered India to become what it has become today. or becoming the third largest economy as we speak today. Now, we are also talking about the views of the political class. When we were growing up through the 70s and 80s and 90s, we never talk politicians, and that's a very important thing. We have Mr. Piyush Goyal sitting with me, with us here today. So I'd like to say that the first time we are hearing in a long time, or maybe first time in the last 10, 15 years, when political class is now talking about free markets, they're talking of firing up the private sector, they're talking the private sector should invest, private sector should create jobs, we don't mind if you create wealth, you make your wealth, you pay your taxes, and, it's great for the nation, competition, and so on. So these, and ease of doing business, Startup India. I've seen Mr. Goyal quite a few times in the startup awards in Bangalore, and ministers are coming and celebrating ease of doing business, are celebrating FDI. So this is a bold statement and massive policy shift, because politicians are powerful people. They drive the policy. So I believe that there are many reasons for India's growth, but this shift of the political narrative towards growth and free markets and private sector is a very big monumental moment, which of course everybody, bureaucrats, everybody derive the line of action and policy from that one. The third thing is about reforms itself. Now, I did notice the other day that I was checking on YouTube, certain articles which talked about itne roads ban rahe hain, lekin desh ka kya hoga, maybe some contractors have benefited from it, but what is it for the common man? There's so much poverty in India, there's so much unemployment in India, desh ka kya hoga? And then, you go and read the comments, a lot of people are saying on that, oh yes, very true, this is a real India, everybody should see this video, and there are some 500 comments for that. When I read that, I was just thinking, what kind of inko samajh mein nahi aata, that when they're setting up roads, it's not just some contractors are benefiting from it. And incidentally, the next day I was, watching a program of Mr. Nitin Gadkari in one of these events, and he was then describing that with the 60,000 kilometers of roads and highways set up in the last 10 years, it's probably about 60 or 70% of what India put in its entire lifetime prior to that, post-independence, that amount of roads, etc., he was talking about bringing down cost of logistics from 16%. China's at 8%, and India is talking of bringing it down to 9%. Now, this is a real way of growing the economy. You put out roads. Today, I think between, Delhi, Dehradun 2 hours, because we're in Delhi, we're speaking, let me say Delhi, Amritsar 4 hours. All these connectivities have cut down by half, which means that the transit cost for people to transport goods from one place to another is cut down by half. Cost of goods comes down. Your inflation comes down to that extent of what it would have been. Your products become more competitive. You can export more. And therefore, this is a and then when you export more, you produce more. And when you produce more, you create more employment. You invest more. Then also foreign investors invest in the country because ease of doing business is going up. So these are all fundamentally, just by setting up 60,000 kilometers of roads and highways, you are bringing down cost of goods. You're becoming more competitive. Now, this is lost on people. This is lost on people. You'll be surprised when you talk to even children who are growing up, in schools and colleges, who are in well-read schools, like really top-rated schools of the country. They also don't understand. They also say, no, uncle, we should be, we are putting roads, etc. Itne sare garib hai, desh mein garib ko de do. They don't understand that if you give money to Garib just like that, then you know what will happen. You just fuel consumption, some inflation happens. You don't really create anything. So therefore, this thing about the way India is developing is India, I'd like to communicate to everybody the way India is doing it for the last 10, 15 years of making investments. Roads is one example, ports may be another, of fundamentally transform the economy, fundamentally making it more competitive is a very powerful way of making it happen. The issue is that, talking of policy, how to take the common person along, how to make the common person realize that this is a more sustainable way of growing the economy. Because obviously, the political class has to win elections to be in power, and therefore they can execute changes and so on. But, even the fact that the reforms of digitization world that has happened in the country over the last many years, creation of the entire India stack, the UPI, the digital ecosystem, the credit bureaus, the ONDC, these are all very powerful digital ecosystem getting created. So somewhere I do believe that the education of the public at large, that investment creates growth and jobs on a sustainable basis, maybe even starting it as a curriculum in schools. That is the reason I needed your attention, even as starting as a curriculum in schools, so that these children, when they come out, by the time they are 12th standard, in college, etc., they understand that it is for their future that you invest. For example, moving away from the old, the new pension scheme, going back to the old pension scheme, 20, 30 years from now, all our tax collection will be going and paying pensions. If you don't really deal with that issue. So someone has to educate, education has to start early, and I really leave that as an agenda for the society, for the media, for the journalists, for the government, on how we are going to educate the country on reforms. Else you will always have objections, and you will have to figure out how to do reforms the harder way, which fortunately our country is doing by the force of, by the government and by, forward thinking. I would like to finally just say that in terms of the green economy, many of these initiatives actually helping even the green economy. For example, when the traffic is on the roads for less amount of time, they're emitting less smoke. You have half the time. You don't have any more checkposts. You have GST. So 5 hours, trucks are not standing on the road. That much of green economy. And the minister also was talking about the fact that you don't need petrol anymore or diesel anymore. You can use CNG and you can use biofuels and so on. So all this is powering up the economy. I'd like to close by saying from the financial sector point of view, the really good thing that has happened from the financial sector point of view is that that the credit is now going to bottom of the pyramid. If you see the 3 programs launched by the government maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it's a pretty fantastic program. We talked about the Shishu, the Mudra program. There was a Shishu. Then there's Kishore. Shishu was loans below 50,000 rupees. Kishore was loans between 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees. And Tarun was the loans above 5 lakh rupees up to 10 lakh rupees. There are 3 categories created, and the government was making policy initiatives to power it. Let me share with you numbers. In 2022, 3.5 lakh crores of Mudra loans was given under these 3 programs. Very powerful program to take credit to bottom of pyramid. Until that time, credit was going largely to the upper end of the pyramid. 23, this amount was 4.5 lakh crores. In 24, 5.5 lakh crores. So these programs are really working and taking credit to the bottom of the pyramid. Not that government is giving out 5.5 lakh crores. They create a policy environment, enabling environment to make it happen, which I really appreciate because the market economics way of making it happen, and eventually credit reaches the bottom of the pyramid. And this is a very, very important thing. And therefore, while we do the macro reforms of building the roads, infrastructure, power, etc., which fundamentally makes the country competitive, for a person who's poor, we cannot say, for example, the other day when I was walking in my building, one of the staff just accosted me and said, my son's face got burnt. Can you help me with some funds? So I was just thinking to myself that to that person, we cannot say that let the economy become 5 trillion, 10 trillion, and by that time the child's time is gone. So we should be aware that while for example, someone studying for the IIMs, a preparation, wanting a laptop to prepare, we cannot just say that Indian economy will grow. Indian economy will grow, but we need to carry this along. Small enterprises, small business people, the poor people. So carry them along, meaning through policy initiatives that can fundamentally transform them and give a supporting support till the time they also catch up with the mainstream economy. So therefore, to sum it up, the macro reforms, education about reforms to the public, and carrying the small businesses and smaller and lower income people along through policy initiatives put together is going to be really a very powerful means of making it happen. And then when we transfer and we reach this, $5 trillion economy, let me say in the next 3 years, which we're all waiting for really with thrilled that it has happened, thrilled that government is enabling it, pushing it, and cheering for it and getting everybody to cheer for it. When we look ahead, I must say that the equity capital in the Indian banking system today is about 25 lakh crores. The loan book of the Indian banking system is about 170 lakh crores. 170 lakh crores is $2 trillion. Now, today the economy is about $3.7 trillion. So you know $2 trillion divided by this 3.7 trillion dollars, about 50 or 60%. We are talking now, if you look beyond this $5 trillion economy, look, let me say 20 years hence, we're talking of India becoming something like $35 trillion economy, give or take which research you believe. Now, so therefore, if you're, a $3.5 trillion economy is becoming 35, and your credit grows from $2 trillion, not to 20, probably 25 or 26, because credit to GDP also will grow over a period of time. When that massive credit growth is yet to happen, massive, like at 13 times, massive deposit growth is going to happen like 13 times in 20 years. India's never seen that kind of a growth. When that happens, India needs capital. Capital, because India's banking system is very well capitalized today. NPS all-time low. IBC has come. Entrepreneurs have become more serious. Credit bureaus have come. Customers have become more sensitive. All that is fantastic. So Indian platform is fantastic, can power the growth of the $35 trillion economy, but India needs capital. And therefore, to keep India fundamentally strong economy, to show growth, to be seen as an economy that the world will want to invest in is a very important thing. And I think this is a very important initiative ahead for all of us. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.